All right, so in the next 20 minutes, I'm gonna give you an intro to Dallas on the map so you can continue doing your research, guys. I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know about living in Dallas, Texas over this new series, so I want you to stay tuned for future videos. So what I wanna do is go over just some of the general areas of Dallas, Texas. We'll touch briefly on, some of the different suburbs and neighborhoods that our clients are choosing. And by the end of this video, guys, you're gonna be able to rule out at least 90% of the places that you're probably not gonna wanna be in. Now, if this is your first time to the channel, my name is Mark and I'm your realtor here in Dallas. And my team and I, we help people buy, sell, and relocate right here to the Metroplex. So if you're thinking about making that move, feel free, reach out. All of our contact info is down in the description below and pinned to the top of the chat. So we have the big map of Dallas right here, guys. So I have a few notes. We're going to be going off of this. But first, we want to talk about some of the major highways and byways coming through Dallas, right? So again, we have the city center. Let me go ahead and tap on this. Where is she at? There she goes. All right, so we have the city center right here in the middle, right? This is Dallas. That's kind of going to be your hub where everything comes and flows, right? So you have Dallas in this area right here. So we're going to talk about some of these major highways. We're going to start with the ones that flow east and west, okay? So right here we have I-30, right? So this is going to be I-30. I-30 runs all the way up to Arkansas. This comes straight through downtown Dallas, and I-30 goes all the way to Fort Worth on that side, right? So you have Fort Worth, it'll go all the way, I believe it's gonna end up connecting over into I-20, which is gonna be the next one we're talking about. But this is a major thoroughfare coming right in the middle of Dallas. So when people talk about traffic, right, you're gonna have big traffic points at these intersections, right? Because this is a major hub and you have people coming from all which ways in different directions. You'll have traffic here, you'll have traffic here and here, and then it continues on the way out. So when people talk about traffic, we're gonna talk about some of the bottlenecks that is causing a lot of that. They're doing some widening efforts, but at the same time, we have a lot of people moving here. I mean, we helped 6 people move here last month and it's just continuing to accelerate. So if you haven't scheduled your discovery call with us yet, especially if you're thinking about moving in the springtime, it'd probably be pretty smart to go ahead and get on our calendar because it's booking up fast, guys. So now over this way, we have Highway 80. So this is basically like an extension of 30. Highway 80 is going to initially just come on through here all the way, and it'll end up connecting to 20 and then continue out as 20. Right, so just think of that. It's like just another little vein going through a couple of these other little areas that we'll talk about in just a second. Now, our second main interstate and highway is going to be Highway 20, right? So Highway 20, this one rolls all the way. I mean, this goes through Louisiana, it goes to Mississippi, it goes to Georgia, it goes all the way to Florida, right? So all the way to the coast. So that's where I-20 goes, and then it comes to the bottom part of the Metroplex and goes all the way over here through Fort Worth, and then again going towards California. I don't know if it goes all the way to California, but do you just understand that is a major highway? You probably heard rappers or people singing about it, talking about it in a song. I-20, that's the one that we have right here. And I-20 really services a lot of these southern suburbs down here, right? So that's kind of one of the main roads that a lot of people down here use. So coming back a little bit more north, right? Now we're gonna head over here and do Highway 183. So what we'll do is we'll clear this really quick. And now we're gonna focus in on Highway 183. So Highway 183 starts over in this area. So we have 35, we'll talk about that in just a second, but Highway 183 again is going east and west. And this is going to be kind of that middle main artery coming through Arlington, going over to Fort Worth. So if you wanted, you have 3 different routes to really get to Fort Worth, right? You can do I-20, you can do I-30, or you can do 183. Now, I'm not gonna lie, 183, man, this has a lot of traffic on it in certain areas. Because most of the people who live up here, if they work in Fort Worth, cool, they're going down that way. And there's traffic going that way as well. But if they work up in here and they're coming to Dallas, well, you only have two roads you can use, right? You have that one and you have 183. A lot of people use this. 183 is a free road. It does have an express lane that is very expensive. We're talking about from here to here is probably $20. Like, it's very expensive. Now coming up a little bit farther north, you see we got some of these northern suburbs right here. They're west of the Metroplex. So you have South Lake, Grapevine. These are some of those areas that are full of affluence, right? So there's gonna be those $1 million mansions. If you've heard of South Lake Carroll, that's where that school is up there. But again, this right here is going to be Highway 114. And I'm gonna be honest with you, 114 is one of my favorites. Now, the interesting thing about that is 114 starts probably about right here and then ends about right here, right? So it's just a little strip right here, because this turns into 35. You have 35 coming north and south. This right here will take you over into Irving. It'll take you straight to the airport. It'll take you straight to some of these northern areas, and you can also kind of skip a couple of things. But it's a really nice highway. It's brand new. It flows really well, especially in the rush hour. It's probably one of the ones that flows the best in some of the ones that we've talked about. But that would be Highway 114. So let's keep that in mind. Let me clear some of this out so you can get a better look at it, right? So 114 is here. Now that we've talked about some of the ones going east and west, let's talk about the ones that are going north and south throughout the Metroplex, right? So as we're coming back into Dallas right here in the middle, now we have Highway 75, right? So Highway 75 is the main highway that is going north and south from Dallas up to the northern suburbs, right? So let me clear this and we'll kind of zoom out just a little bit so you can see that, right? Zoom out a little bit. I'm telling you guys, Dallas is massive. And this is why we created this channel, to really be able to help you understand these areas and just get a gist. Because to be honest with you, we can definitely educate you on all things Dallas, but until you lived here for about 3, 4, 5 years, you don't really just get the entirety and the grasp of this city, because it is enormous, okay? So like I said, we're down here in downtown Dallas, right here, and we're going up Highway 75. This runs north all the way. I'm not even sure exactly where that one runs as far as into what other cities and what other states, I'm sorry. But it is a beast, and this will take you all the way up to Richardson, Plano, Allen, McKinney's up here as well. And the other north and south highway we have is going to be Highway 35. This one as well I'm sorry. The other one that we have right here is Dallas North Tollway. So this is DNT. So Dallas North Tollway is a toll road that basically connects your Friscos, your Salinas, your Prospers, all those areas that everybody's talking about and how much they're just growing and expanding. Dallas North Tollway is the place that's going to extend to there. So we'll even zoom out so you can get a better look of it, right? So again, you have Dallas North Tollway starting down here in Dallas, and it just comes all the way up here, coming through all of these suburbs. And the crazy thing is they're building this right now all the way to Oklahoma, right? So this is going to be finished and completed. When it's completed, it's probably one of the best highways as far as being able to get to all of these northern suburbs, right? 75, this highway is a monster. There's no way around traffic on that one. It's just gonna be traffic. So if you're living in any of these areas like Richardson, Plano, on the east side of Plano, right? Because Plano's kind of broken down into 3 different areas. You have East Plano here, you have the middle of Plano here, and then you have West Plano here, right? And it kind of gives you a little bit of a different vibe on each side of Plano, right? So again, you have your Prosper, which is, beautiful, really blowing up as far as new construction goes, but again, really expensive, pricey. Frisco, gonna be pricey. McKinney, pretty well established over in here. There's some new construction going on over there, but there's a lot of stuff that's already been developed and whatnot there. Little Elm is kind of the little sister to Frisco. I kind of like this area as well because they have some more affordable houses. And when I say affordable, we're talking about, if you're thinking 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,200 square feet, probably around 400, 425, right? So, I mean, it's just more affordable than being in Frisco, but these prices here are going up. And then if we go even farther north here, we have a little town called Aubrey right here. Aubrey is where you can probably get the most bang for your buck in the North Dallas Metroplex, right? So if you want to be up here close to Frisco, if you're working in Frisco, Aubrey has probably the best bang for your buck. It has some new construction, plenty of whatnot. Now these roads back in through here, man, they're not developed very much yet. Like, it's single lane, backed up, and then Highway 380. It says it's a highway, not quite that, right? So there's stoplights all the way from here to here, right? And you have a bunch of shops. There's some communities over in here, communities right along here, a lot of shops and new developments. They're building new luxury apartments from here. But the problem with 380 is you have those stoplights and so many people live back in there that this highway, it might take you 45 minutes to get from here to here. Seriously. And this is probably only maybe 10 to 15 miles, maybe, right? So that is something to be aware of up north. Okay, so now that we went over that secondary one going north and south, now we're gonna talk about Highway 35. So Highway 35 comes from downtown Dallas as well. And this one's gonna run right up here, coming through Farmers Branch, through Carrollton. We'll go up to Louisville, up to Highland Village. Scroll out a little bit for you. And Highway 35 will take you all the way to Denton. Denton is where the University of North Texas is. So if you're, I think I don't even know what their mascot is, but if you're thinking about going to school up in Denton, or if you've been wondering where North Texas is, that's going to be up there. Didn't mean to do that. Clear screen. Okay, so you got a little look at that. And that would be Highway 35. And so now we'll come over here. And if you did notice this on this, is something that took me a while to understand. We actually have two Highway 35s. It's really interesting. So you have Highway 35 right here, right? You see it, it goes north and south. And then you have Highway 35 on this side. And for the longest time, I really didn't understand why that was, right? Like, how is this is not close together, right? But if you come and zoom out, what happens is Highway 35 ends up coming back together right down here before you start getting down here towards, I think, Austin's down this way. So you have Waco here. And then as you zoom all the way out, 35 will take you all the way through Temple and then to Austin as well. So you'll have Austin down in this area. So 35 kind of splits when it gets into the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I want to say it comes back together somewhere up in here. I guess it's up here, right? So 35 is here. But again, that's kind of something that I really didn't understand for a long period of time until I made a lot of trips down to like Houston, a lot of trips down to Austin, San Antonio, and it started to come together for me. All right, so now let's talk about 635, okay? So we're gonna talk about some loops now before we start talking about some more of these northern ones. We're gonna talk about some of the loops around. So our first loop inside the loop in Dallas, right, is gonna be Highway 12. So Highway 12 isn't necessarily like a highway per se. This is just a very fast moving, probably like 3-lane road that has, stoplights and whatnot, right? And so Loop 12 goes all the way around Dallas in different areas, right? So again, you're gonna have stoplights. There's stoplights through here. It runs pretty good, but there's still a lot of stoplights. So it's not necessarily like a highway. I don't want you to think you're just going. It's not that. So Loop 12 will be our first loop in and around Dallas, right? That'll be the first one. And then our second loop is going to be 635. Now, 635 is an animal. So if you're talking about probably between Highway 75 and 635, probably the worst traffic. And honestly, I've seen memes. I've seen a bunch of memes on Instagram, and 635, they put stuff like, have you seen, what's the name of that movie? 635, I forgot. Fury Road, Fury Glory Road. What is the name of that movie? Can't even think of it right now. But anyway, this is kind of a madhouse, guys. I'm telling you, people do not really know how to drive on 635. They're doing a ton of construction on 635 right up in here. They did a bunch of construction that they've already finished over in this area. So they have a toll road that actually goes underneath the highway. So they have the regular highway, and they have a toll road where they built this like almost like in the Batman movie when he's driving away and fleeing the police, and it's just wide open. They have a toll road underneath that road, and it is like you can do probably 85, 90. They do have biker cops every now and then, but most people are flying through there. So what they're doing right now is they're extending that all the way down so traffic can move a little better. They're also extending the side roads and widening the highway all at the same time. So when we're talking about traffic, this road is probably one of the worst, right? It's probably one of the worst. I'm sorry, this keeps going right here. This is another highway. That's probably the worst one. And this one services everybody that lives over here. If you're trying to get over to Plano, we'll talk about the next one in a minute. There's another way up there, but most of the people who are out here are coming in here and they're going up here, or they live over here, they're coming up and they're going this way. It's a whole bunch of that going on, or they're coming from here and going down. I mean, it's just a massive amount of people that are using this road, and that's why it's so backed up, and why they've been working on that for probably 10 years. I'm not even playing. Since I've been here, they've been working on 635. So 635 would be your second loop. And this one goes all the way here and to the airport. So this is the airport right here, kind of northwest of Dallas, right? DFW International. And then we also have Dallas Love Field, right? So Dallas Love Field is kind of pretty close to Dallas. This is only Southwest Airlines though. Took me a long time to figure that out. I actually was going for a flight to, I believe, Atlanta. I had booked it with Southwest. In my mind, I thought there was only just one airport. Went up in here. If you've ever been to DFW, this is kind of a madhouse in here because it's a maze. There's like 8 or 9 terminals. So you get in there, you got to pay a toll just to get in. I got there, went looking for Southwest, couldn't find it until somebody told me, well, you have to go to Love Field. So if you're ever flying into Dallas, we have 2 airports. Just make sure you know which one. If you're Southwest, you are at Love Field down here. Okay. So yeah, 635 will run all the way up there, and that's kind of where that ends up here. So 635 comes all the way around, all the way to I-20, right? So the next one, the next northern loop, we are going to have President George Bush Tollway. So President George Bush Tollway, probably the best highway in my opinion, besides Sam Rayburn. They're kind of neck and neck, but I like George Bush because I use it way more often because unless you live up here, you really don't have a reason to use Sam Rayburn Tollway, this one. But again, these are probably the 2 best highways in the Metroplex, always wide open. It's not a lot of traffic. I think you have a little bit of traffic once you get kind of here and then into this junction right here when people are trying to go to Plano or going up to Frisco. That's really the only place that you have just traffic like that, but it's a brand new highway. Now the caveat is it's a tollway, so you got to pay for this bad boy. And the way our tolls work, they have different checkpoints. There's different checkpoints and then exits as well. So it depends on where you exit, and then you have to pay according to however much it is to for that checkpoint. For me, we used to live in Mansfield. So we lived down here, but we used to live down here, and I would ride this. And this is where George Bush starts over on this side. And I would ride this all the way up here for work, right? And so that would probably be like $5 or $6 one way. So we're talking about $10 a day in tolls that I was paying on top of gas. So again, that's kind of some of the things that we just understand. So when we're talking about, where you want to live, when we're talking about what's important to you as far as being around, your price points, all those type of things, we're taking all of these factors into consideration because I've lived in so many different areas. Guys, I've lived in Fort Worth, I've lived in Arlington, I've lived in Mansfield. I used to work a lot down here in Cedar Hill. I have rental property here in Forney, always up here in Walk Walks, a lot of our clients like that. I've lived in downtown Dallas. We've lived in Carrollton, lived in Frisco. So, I know these areas like the back of my hand because I've spent so much time. And that's kind of what you get with working with us, right? So now that we come back around, we're talking about George Bush. Now we're gonna go up here and talk about Sam Rayburn Tollway. So Sam Rayburn is going to be this road right here, and this will lead you straight on down into the airport. And this is going to be one of the main roads that services the northern part of the Metroplex, right? So Frisco, that's going to be a main thoroughfare for Frisco. It's going to be a main thoroughfare for McKinney. People live in Allen, the Colony. Like, you're going to be on this road quite a bit, especially just moving around, because if you live up here, it's rare that you're coming down here in the first place. Like, everything you need, that is also, honestly, I believe the DFW is going to be called the DFFW, the Dallas Fort Worth Frisco Metroplex, because Frisco is starting to become its own little hub, and it's servicing these cities as a downtown area, right? So a lot of these people they're coming over here instead of going to downtown, because the traffic isn't as bad going up. And Frisco's just super nice. They're building a bunch of new corporate headquarters, skyscrapers. So it's kind of taking form as its own little downtown city. Okay, so that is Sam Rayburn. And then of course we talked about 380. So that 380 that we talked about earlier, where it's kind of hectic with those stoplights, it goes all the way to, I believe this is Farmersville, right? So this is probably 60 miles from here to here. Like, DFW is massive. It's crazy big. So we left off one highway, guys, that I do want to show you. and that is gonna be, well, actually 2. Okay, so we talked about Highway 75, right? So Highway 75 is the one that goes north and south, and then it turns into Highway 45 going south of Dallas, right? Now, why they did that and it just didn't continue it at 75, I do not know. But 45, this one is what runs into Dallas, and this will take you all the way to Houston, right? So if you're thinking about Houston or anything like that, or how far Houston is from Dallas, it's about, I wanna say 4 and some change from Dallas down here to Houston, right? And you would be on that 45 to get down there. So we have Houston here, and then 45 will take you all the way up to here, right? So that kind of gives you the reference if you didn't really understand what the distance was from Houston to Dallas. I know a lot of you are thinking about, well, should I go to Houston? Should I live in Dallas? I'm gonna be honest with you, Dallas is better in my opinion. I don't know about y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I have a thing with hurricanes and being flooded and all of this, right? I'm just not a fan, especially if I have a car and I'm paying insurance on it and then it gets flooded and then something comes back the next year and it gets flooded again. And then it just keeps happening over and over again. Like, to me, that's the definition of insanity. So I'm not gonna do that. So for me, I am not gonna do Houston just for some of those insurance reasons, some of those weather reasons, right? I mean, all of Texas, we have our own little weather type situations, but I'd rather deal with what we got to deal with in Dallas, which is, maybe some high winds every now and then. We get a freeze once a year now. It's like in February for like a week. But they've gotten so much better at dealing with it that it's not actually that bad. Like if you were to, in Texas, we tell people who are from like Denver or Chicago, oh yeah, we had like an inch of snow. Everything shut down. They look at us like we're crazy. Rightfully so, but yeah. Okay, so, all right, we talked about 75, 380. We talked about all the highways. So now we're gonna talk about a few landmarks, right? So as you can notice, we have a couple of lakes throughout the Metroplex. So you have a nice little lake here. This is Lake Ray Hubbard, really big lake, really super nice, guys. A lot of things. They're actually building, it's not necessarily a casino, but it's like they're building a man-made island, and it has luxury apartments, luxury condos. It has apartment buildings, like a resort style type of situation going on. So that's really cool being built in that lake. The next lake, one of my favorites, which we've actually filmed on the channel a few times, is White Rock Lake, right? So I want you to kind of take a gauge at this, right? White Rock, this is Dallas, this is downtown. This is probably maybe 6-7 miles. And you have your own lake right here. Super beautiful. A lot of people come out here, they go hiking, they walk around the lake, biking around the lake. I mean, they kayak on there. It's a beautiful place. Multi-million-dollar properties lining the banks of this right here. And then, I mean, you're right in the thick of things. So it's definitely an area that a lot of people like. They also like to be in this Lakewood area. We did a little video on that one as well. And then you have the White Rock area as well. So really beautiful place. As we zoom on out, and then we have another large lake up here, that one of the more popular ones, again, Lake Louisville. This is where you'll see a lot of those boat parties, a lot of people doing that during the summer times. They go out there, cast off. A lot of people have lake houses in some of these areas, right? So a lot of people go up there during the summer. Just for reference, if you're looking at Austin and you can see all the things they do out there on the rivers and all of that, that's where they're doing a bunch of that here. All right, so now we're gonna cover a light overview over a couple of the popular suburbs that a lot of people are moving to. So when people move to Dallas, like I know you're searching, living in Dallas, you're searching, moving to Dallas, you're trying to get that information. But most of the time, most people that actually move to Dallas rarely move inside of this circle, right? It's very rare that our clients have moved inside the circle. I feel like it's been specific clients. They are younger, they want to be in the mix, they want to be in the high rise. They're coming from a high rise and they want to move to that. But a lot of people want to live out here in our suburbs, right? They're coming to live in our suburbs, and that's where you're seeing, especially with the Instagram agents who are just kind of showing you some of the properties, and you'll see the crazy amounts of discounted properties, $300,000 for this modern looking mansion. They're building these properties out here. Are they going to be necessarily that price? Not sure. But I can give you what the real deal. Like I said, I don't sugarcoat things and I don't try to sell you on anything. I'm just going to give it to you real, and then you can do with the information as you need to. So for me, Like I said, we do a lot of business out here in Forney. This suburb, guys, this one has so many options for new construction at the price point you want, with the grade A schools, right? You got the A schools, you have the A for diversity, you have the A for pretty much just everything all around. I think the traffic, I'd probably give it a B right now, because they're doing some expansion on Highway 80, so it makes it a little bit congested. And then you're also dealing with some of the 635 traffic. But again, this will be done probably 2 years. This stretch should be done within the next year, year and a half. A lot of good things coming out there. Another good one that I like to mention is Rockwall. So Rockwall, again, if you want to be kind of on that lake, if you like the water, you want that lake life, we have some really cool things here in Rockwall. There's like a little harbor area right off of this. So there's like restaurants right on the water. You can dock your boat right here. All kind of shops and eateries, and it's just beautiful in there, man. Me and the family, we go there probably at least once every like 2 or 3 months. We are intentional about going over the Rockwall, just really enjoying ourselves there. Another really good suburb is Rowlett. So it's going to be a little bit older, not nearly as many new construction. They do have one really nice community that I like. It's called it's right over here actually. It's called Lakeshore Village. So it's right on the water. That price point over there is probably 600-700 though, right? For that neighborhood. But again, once you get into Rowlett a little bit more, you'll have some little bit older properties, not nearly as much new construction. So the prices reflect that. I'm probably still looking at somewhere in the 400 to 550-ish. Will probably get you a decent size 25 to 3,000 square feet, maybe. I'd have to check on that, but I'm pretty sure of that. And so now as we swing on around, so we're gonna talk about some of these northern ones that are a little bit more prominent, right? So Plano, right? So again, like I mentioned earlier, you have 3 different sides to Plano. You can see it right here on the map. You got Plano East, right? So Plano East is running here, coming up to here, and then 75 is that marker point. And then I believe it's Preston. So we have Preston Road right here. So from 75, right, to Preston Road, this is going to be the middle Plano, right? So again, this is going to be established neighborhoods. This is going to be older properties. This is going to be people who have lived here for generations. You're going to have mature trees. You're going to have a lot of older businesses, people who have been there, and it's really, really, really nice area. But if you're looking for new construction, which a lot of our clients are, it's not necessary. You're not going to find a bunch in here. And if you do find something that is going to be either been updated to the nines new construction, like they just took it back to the studs and made it new, or if you find new construction, it's going to cost in here, right? And so where a lot of the new construction is for Plano is going to be from that Preston Road over to Dallas North Tollway, which over here, extremely expensive because all of it's going to be new on this tollway, right? Everything is new. There's got a lot of commercial going on in here, malls. You have a bunch of luxury apartment complexes that line this, because a lot of people like to have access to the highway, and this is a major thoroughfare right here. Dallas North Tollway to President George Bush. A lot of people using that on the regular, but again, imagine, because this is a tollway and this is a tollway, so you are paying tolls in this area. Just understand, if you want to live up there, it's what I always say, if you want to live in the north, you got to have the coins to do so, because with the way inflation is and everything's going, it's going to affect your pocket for sure. If you're trying to stay on a budget, under budget, we have some different areas that may work better for you. But again, we want to talk about some of the ones that are really popular. And so as we come up, this is Dallas North Tollway. We come up here into Frisco, right? Frisco is the coup de grace. It is just the brain trust of the Dallas Metroplex. Everybody knows about it. Everybody talks about it. Everybody's moving to it. A lot of people from California are moving to this area. And again, guys, you just have so many beautiful neighborhoods. Like I say, Shattuck Creek Estates, High Dollar. You have a nice park over here. They're building the Universal Studios right up here in Frisco as well, up in this area, I believe. So it's going to be a brand new Universal Studios that is already underway. They built the PGA headquarters over here, right? PGA headquarters is here. So they have we went out there and shot a video. They have a nice golf course. You can go out there and drive. They have the big headquarters right there. Super nice. Some restaurants right next to it. We also have our soccer team, the Dallas, not the Stars. Well, the Stars are up here too. Their headquarters up here. They play in downtown Dallas, but they practice up here. But you have, what is FC Dallas, right? FC Dallas is up here as well. So you have a little bit of action as far as sports go. Like I said, Frisco is going to be that main driver that a lot of people have heard of when you talk about Dallas. Like I said, a lot of people don't know about Little Elm. I do like Little Elm. If you're trying to be around for the Frisco area, you want to be in the mix, but you're still looking for something that's going to be affordable. Homes probably going to be 1990s to, I'd say, I mean, you can get them newer all the way to 2024, but the average age is going to be, you know, somewhere in that older, maybe 2000, mid 2000s is what I would say, especially as we get over here by Paloma Creek. Again, you have the lake is kind of coming into that Little Elm area, which a lot of people like that as well. Really nice. And then as we come up here, now we have Prosper, and it's kind of weird, guys, because Prosper like comes all the way here, and then Little Elm extends like up in here. It's kind of weird how the lines are. So you'll see it if you ever go up there. It's kind of like 1 second you'll be in Prosper, the next second you're in Little Elm, then you might be a little confused. But Prosper, this is high dollar here. We're talking about Windsong Ranch where the lagoon is, right? So we have Megatail who builds these beautiful white sand beaches, lagoons. They're not pools. They're not, you know what I'm saying? They have their own pools, but it's a white sandy beach, man-made lagoon. It's beautiful. A lot of people live up there in those communities. And the great thing about it is Megatail is building those in a bunch of other communities as well. I know they're building one up here in Anna, right? That's a little bit farther north. So again, you kind of get a shot of what Frisco, that's downtown Frisco right here. Where the FC Dallas is would be right here across the street. That's the square right there we're looking at. So, but they're building that lagoon that I was just talking about in Anna. Where did Anna go? There she is. In Anna, they're building one there. I want to say they're building another one up north. They're actually building a lagoon in Forney, and I am getting ready to do a video on that one. It's going to be superb, guys. So just stay tuned for that. They're building one down here in Forney, right? So if you're looking for affordable and you want to have all those amenities like the lagoon, I think they're going to have a restaurant in the community, like a restaurant, a bowling alley, arcade. Like the amenities are ridiculous. Top flight gym, like it is craziness. Another one that we can talk about, like I said, let's roll up here, is Salina. So Salina is getting a lot of recognition right now because it is growing so fast. It is basically set to be bigger than Frisco. So Salina is what Frisco was probably 15, 20 years ago. It's not that big, just a bunch of green, right? You don't see a whole bunch of just development like that, but there are so many new communities that are popping up all over the place, right? So these are all brand new construction, right? We have a client, a subscriber, a client under contract up here. Let's see, right up in here, I believe, with Grand Homes, $800,000. So just to give you an idea, there's not even that much up here yet, and the prices are reflecting that much for some of these homes. Now you can find some homes probably 400 or 500, 2,000 to 2,500 square feet, right? You can find some of those things, but again, if you were looking for, if you have the coins and you're looking for an area that's going to continue to explode, it's going to continue to appreciate like crazy, Salina may be a good one for you. We haven't gotten up there to do a vlog video yet, so we will get that for you in the future. Now coming on back to McKinney. McKinney is a very interesting area. As far as it goes, I like this area because I'm not gonna say it's just the most affordable, but it's definitely more affordable than this. It's probably gonna be a little bit more affordable than Allen and Plano because it's kind of on the outskirts, but again, McKinney kind of runs in this area, right? Well, actually it comes farther than that, I'm sorry. McKinney kind of runs like this. It comes over here to New Hope, and then it has like a weird little line or something like this. And there's brand new communities over here. There's all kind of newer communities popping up through here. But again, this is 380. This can kind of be a monster heading over into Princeton. But McKinney has very well-established neighborhoods up and through here. You have a lot of shopping and dining and restaurants right up in here. Costco, Sam's, Walmart, you know, I don't know if they have a HEB up here. We have about 2 or 3 up here now. They just built those. And if you have not been to HEB, if you come to Texas, you come to Dallas, make sure you stop at HEB. It's a must. I'm telling you, do not just go in there and get a look of it for yourself, so you know what people are talking about when you hear it on the videos. So McKinney, definitely an area that I like. It's up, I won't say it's up and coming. It's already up and came, but it's expanding. All this green area is going to continue to get developed. They're probably going to be developing here to New Hope. Now, one of the most affordable, I would say, areas of this northern area to me would be Princeton, right? Princeton is it's a smaller town, right? We'll load us up, smaller town, but they have some brand new construction homes. You can get a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom, probably 400,000, brand new, beautiful, probably trophy or meritage. I know they have a few communities up here. I think they're building a lagoon up in this area as well. I don't know if it's Megatel. I think it's a different builder. But the thing about Princeton is it's not as developed as some of the other up and coming areas. It's gonna be a while before this one really starts to pop. So just understand that. And then coming out here to 380 is not the funnest thing, because from this point, it's like a 1-lane, 2-lane road with stoplights. And it almost feels, it's a 2-lane road, but it almost feels like it's a 1-lane road on each side. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we talked about some of these northern areas. Now we're gonna roll over here towards the west side a little bit. So coming back down from, we have Frisco up in this area. We're coming back down towards the airport. Addison, I like this area if you're single, maybe a couple, younger, if you kind of liking that, that might be the vibe for you. It's kind of a small little city, but there's probably 200 restaurants in a 4-square block of this area, because the whole city is only 4 square miles. We did a video on that. If you want to go check that out in the cards, it's really, really super nice. But if you want to be in the mix, because it gives you the access to everything. So, I mean, you can shoot down to Dallas. This is, I'd say 20, 25 minutes. You shoot up to Frisco, should be 15 to 20 minutes. You can get over to Plano, 15, 20 minutes, right? 15. You can get over to the airport. Where's the airport? You can come this way. Where'd the airport go? Oh, it's over here. All right, you can come this way, come down to the airport. You can come down here and you can get into Dallas Love Field, right? That's about 15 minutes. So Addison is a great place if you're trying to be centrally located. I won't say there's a bunch of real estate to buy in here. There's probably more apartments, that sort of thing going on. So if you're looking to move to Dallas and you're looking for a rental, you kind of want to get your feet wet. You want to have a place to live so you can really get to know the areas. But if you're really trying to be somewhere where, for the kids and that sort of thing, I don't know if Addison would be the spot. I don't know if that would be it for you. You're probably going to want to be more in that suburb type feel, something that's going to be less busy, because this, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of traffic comes here, coming from 635 and Dallas North Tollway. With everybody who lives in Frisco and lives in the northern area, they're coming through there. Everybody lives out this way, who's coming from here or going from here, going this way, it's a madhouse in here, right? Especially on this road and coming down. So the next town, what I think is really slept on that a lot of people do not know about, is Carrollton, okay? So Carrollton is, again, another city. You see its proximity. It's really good to be, it's essentially located to a lot of things. Now, to get to downtown Dallas is still probably 20, 30 minutes. But if you're trying to get to Frisco, 20 minutes. Addison, so we have the Galleria Mall, all of that's right up in here, which is a really big mall here in Dallas. If you're trying to get to the airport, bam, 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 thank you, ma'am, you're there. You can probably go up here and do this way as well. That's probably 15, 20 minutes. And in Carrollton, there's some newer construction stuff kind of on this northern side by Hebron. So Hebron's a smaller city. It's not, I wouldn't necessarily just call it a suburb. It's kind of like a blink and you miss it type of thing. But there's some nice properties in here. Going to be a little bit more expensive, higher dollar, probably 2015 to 2019-ish. And then probably a little bit older than that, maybe 2000s. Carrollton will have some older homes, probably 80s, 90s, kind of older layouts, maybe even a little bit older than that. Very, very slim pickings for new construction in here. But again, this location and the schools here are really good as well. So good school districts between the both of those. Okay, so as we come on around, we'll talk about Irving a little bit, okay? So Irving is broken down into 3 different areas, right? So Irving is kind of right here, right? So Irving is here, and it comes all the way up, goes around Farmers Branch, and then we'll come on back down. So Irving is kind of broken down into a couple of different areas. So down here on the southern side, we'll just say here, down here on the southern side, it is older properties, right? You're gonna have more industrial, older properties, 50s, 60s, 70s homes. This is older. And then as you come in here, you start to see a little bit more new construction, especially up in this area. You have a couple lakes. It's called, this is called like kind of the Las Colinas area up here in the north. So the northern side is where you'll have a little more newer properties. You'll have more established neighborhoods as well. People have lived there for a long time. You have great school districts up in this area. And then they have their own nice little, I won't call it a downtown, but it's really super nice in here. You have some skyscrapers, some corporate headquarters buildings in there. A lot of tech people like to live in this area because there's a lot of tech jobs sprinkled through here. There's plenty of just jobs going through there. But Las Colinas is also kind of similar to me for like Addison, just maybe a little bit more suburban feel. And what the reason why is because quick, easy, this is 10 minutes, you're at the airport, right? And then like I told you before, you have Highway 114, right? This is running down to Dallas. So without traffic, 15, 20 minutes, you're in Dallas. You need to get a flight at Dallas Love Field, bam, you're right there. Sorry. Bam, you're right there, Dallas Love Field. So that's like 15, 20 minutes. You're trying to get over to Frisco, boom, you hit the tollway, you're in Frisco. So I like Las Colinas a lot because of just the proximity to a lot of different things. And then you also get some of that more suburban feel while still kind of being in the mix and not so far out in the suburbs where you're just kind of outside of it all. So you can see that Las Colinas right there. And we did a video on the pros and cons of Irving. We kind of talked about some of those things. I need to reshoot that one and go really in depth and go do a vlog and kind of show you what I'm talking about. Now we're going to talk about a couple more areas, guys, and then we're going to wrap up this video and we'll do part 2 and break down some of these other areas. So we're over here, we have, this is what I like to call the mid cities, right? So if you notice, right, in the DFW, a lot of people just don't realize this, is that Fort Worth, this is probably, let's see how far Dallas is from Fort Worth. So it's saying about 34 minutes, but it's how many miles is that's what I'm looking for. It's 32 miles, right? So 32 miles from the heart of Dallas to Fort Worth, right? And so what we have is you have your Fort Worth right here, move this on over, and then you have Dallas, and then we have our mid cities, right? So mid city is going to be Arlington, it's going to be Euless, Bedford, and Hearst. And then you also have Mansfield down here. There's Kennedale right here, a little bit zoomed in some more, so you can see that. Kennedale is kind of small little area. It's really an extension of Arlington, in my opinion. And then you have Grand Prairie, and then you have Erling as well. So we'll touch on the bigger ones. So like Grand Prairie is another one of those that is kind of broken down into 3 different areas. Grand Prairie is, you have the northern side. They're building a lot of luxury apartments up in here. They're building some luxury townhomes right here. A whole ton of new construction as far as developments goes. They built an IKEA over here. There's an Andretti's race, indoor go-kart racing. They have a Chicken and Pickle over there. A bunch of luxury luxury condos as far as apartment buildings go. And there's just a whole bunch of new construction going along around this corridor. Now inside of here, the properties are gonna be older, right? They're older, they're smaller as well. So we're talking like 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom homes, 3-bedroom, 1.5 homes, 4-bedroom, 1.5 home, 1-car garage. And some of these homes are as old as like 1940, 50, you know, on pier and beam, older properties in there. I've also, just from my experience in Grand Prairie, especially in certain areas, there tends to be some foundation issues going on, especially with some of the older homes. But the soil here is especially kind of rough on properties. So you want to keep that in mind. Now, as we scroll on down, Grand Prairie still extends all the way down in here. And this right here is another lake that we didn't mention earlier. This is Joe Pool. So Joe Pool Lake, really nice lake over in here, guys. Some really beautiful properties. We have Cedar Hill State Park up in here, so you can go through here, do hiking, any type of outdoor activities, really nice. They keep it up. I think you gotta pay like $5 a day or something like that. But Joe Pool Lake is definitely one that a lot of people enjoy. That's going to be right next to Grand Prairie. And so down here on the southern side of Grand Prairie, you'll have a little bit more established, bigger homes, kind of a little bit newer, and it's like mixed in, but then you'll have a few new construction communities over here as well. Miralagos is down here, which is phenomenal. Those are probably 700,000-800,000, but I mean, you get some castles, right? You get castles down there. We're talking 4,000 square feet, maybe even guest house type of deal. And so now we'll scoot back up If you haven't heard of Arlington, that's our true middle city. So Arlington runs, about, let's say over here, all the way up into here and back down. So Arlington is going to be broken down to a couple of different areas. Well, you have the north side, you have middle, and you have southern, right? And so the north side of Arlington, man, the Viridian, gosh, this is one beautiful neighborhood. So this, you see this lake right here? They built that man-made. It's a lake. You can go kayaking, you can go fishing. They have this like amenity center that looks like a Spanish villa. They got bocce ball courts. They got volleyball courts. I mean, it is phenomenal. Viridian, a whole bunch of new construction up in there. The northern side is kind of where you'll see a little bit more established neighborhoods. I mean, there's a bunch of established neighborhoods, but you'll see them, they're a little bit more manicured up here, right? So that's kind of what you get. And now along Collins Avenue. So Collins is going to be one of the main fare throughs through Arlington. See, it's gonna pop up. So we have Collins Avenue. So in here, you got Jerry's World in here, right? So Jerry's World coming up right here. AT&T Stadium, so that's where the Cowboys are playing. We also have where the Rangers play. The Rangers play right next to it, right? So the Rangers are right here, Globe Life Field. You have the Cowboys playing here. And then the old Ranger Stadium is here. And now this is like for the XFL teams. This is for, they do concerts in there. You also have Texas Live. Texas Live is this like indoor, it's like a bar, restaurant, mall. If you were to combine the three, that's what it is. Because I've been in there a few times, man. We go there for, big games, big college games, that sort of thing. Super, super cool. Especially if you just want to get out and do something a little different, do something new. Or if you're not going to be in the game, this is a good place to go. A lot of people come here to drink and hang out before they go to the game. And then after the game, they go there and hang out, because after the game is over, man, trying to get out of here it's crazy. It's mad out. Okay, so yeah, that's what we call the entertainment district over in here, right? So you can see you got Boomer Jacks, Buffalo Wild Wings, there's some more stuff up in here, and it's all leading and just revolves around this area. Now coming up a little bit more, so now the middle of Arlington, right? So this middle Arlington area is gonna be, you're gonna have a lot of commercial, it'll be older properties, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s homes, right? All scattered throughout here. And there's some, oh, this is 303 actually, so come on down, right? So there's gonna be some more entertainment over in here. Nice little mall down here, Arlington Mall's down there. You also have the Highlands, where they have a bunch of bars, restaurants, and that sort of thing. But again, in through here, it's really just commercial. It's gonna be like neighborhood shops, gas stations, I think they have pawn shops, they have, check cashing places, kind of all scattered out through here. So that's kind of what middle Arlington is feeling like. And then as we come to southern part of Arlington, right? Now down here, it's still gonna be established homes. There's some bigger ones. There are gonna be some more of, I would say, affluent type of neighborhoods on the southern side as well. And then you also have some that are gonna be a little bit older, kind of a little bit more affordable as well. Probably going to be some fixture uppers or something you're going to have to put some little bit of money into. But again, you could find something in here. And Arlington is a really great spot. One of the things that we do love, one of the things a lot of people do love about this southern part of Arlington is it's in the Mansfield ISD, which Mansfield, again, this is where one of the places we used to live. Really great schools. I mean, you're looking for the great schools, Mansfield ISD has it for you. Mansfield is, how do I explain? It's kind of has a rural feel to it. It's definitely, you're in suburbia for real. But I mean, it has everything you need to have a water park over there. We did a video on Mansfield on the channel if you want to check that out. The schools are great. They have a lot of outdoor nature parks, that sort of thing. It's really easy access to get over to, Arlington, and say, if you want to go do something, you can head over to Arlington in this area, really have a great time. You can come up to the stadium. Downtown Fort Worth from Mansfield is probably 25 minutes, right? So if you want to get down to downtown Fort Worth and do something, TCU's over in this area, Texas Christian University. So you want to go to a ball game, you can. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And this is really a really great place. I would say from a diversity standpoint, pretty diverse area as well. A lot of different people, a lot of different cultures. So you get all of that as well. As you can see, you got the golf course right there. And then if you're looking for something with a little more land, we'll touch on this last one. If you're looking for something that has a little bit more land, you can head on down here to Midlothian, right? Midlothian is going to be the southern part, and then also in here as well, kind of where you see these green spaces, you can get acre lots. You're going to pay for them down here though. Like, you're not going to come down here and get an acre lot for 400,000. It's not happening. But if you're looking for acre lots, you can probably get one out here, 6, maybe 5, mid 5s, 6s, something like that, if you really wanted to get one. So Midlothian is an area that we'll touch on a little bit later. But from the gist of things, guys, that's going to give you just a brief overview of just the DFW Metroplex. As you can see, guys, it is massive, I'm telling you. So all of this is encompassing. This is all the DFW Metroplex, right? This is like, and this is even goes up even higher. I'm telling you guys, this is massive. So just come back to the channel. We'll do part 2 on this. If you're thinking about making that move, feel free, reach out, guys. We're here to help in any way and capacity. Well, we love helping clients really find that piece of Texas that they're looking for. And if you're looking for any type of, vlogs, if you want to see some of these areas in depth, then you can check out these videos right here.